Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
The Lady in Black, the track that's too tough to tame. Those are the polite names for this racetrack. The egg-shaped oval in the middle of South Carolina. A minnow pond sitting out of the exit of turn 3 created the unique shape here at this venue. And tonight for QSR Xfinity, or QSR Chase for the Cup, race number 11. We get to see these guys square off. The tight grooves, the high banking up near the wall, with 900 horsepower behind these engines. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, up here in the booth tonight by myself, but nonetheless, it's been a great season so far, and we're getting down to crunch time. We're going to narrow it down to 12 drivers in the reset, with the chase for the Cup almost underway. Take a quick look at the points here on your screen. Jeremy Burns is going to lead by 136 points, a dominant performance thus far. Mitchell Costner just behind him, and then Joseph Terciano in third. It's pretty tight if you look for the second through sixth position, but then a big gap back to Brent Allen sitting in 11th spot. Spencer Johnson, they're 440, 468 back. So these drivers are right on that cut line, with Derek McMurtry trying to work his way back into the top 12. Quick look at our venue here tonight on the track map of 1.36 miles, 25 and 23 degree banking. This car will not be perfect on both sides of the racetrack, and you'll have to coax it and work it a little bit different on each end Drivers will find themselves in turn 2 wall very easily, and then going into the steep bank of turn 3, really have to back down the corner. They'll go all the way down to a 130 or less to get around those 2 sets of corners. Race analysis up on your screen here tonight. We have 100 laps, 45 mile per hour pit road speed limit, 5 tire sets, which we should probably only use 2 or 3 of them, barring that we don't have a lot of yellows. And of course, 2 green-white checkers with 100% race fuel. And that will allow these drivers to go probably to the halfway point at 50 laps. Again, barring that we don't have any cautions. Schedule coming up on your screen here. After Darlington, we're going to move on to Dover, another very technical and challenging racetrack. And it's actually been said that most of the drivers that win at Dover end up winning a championship because it's such a challenging racetrack. It really does put the talent out there. The Concrete Monster Mile will be our next venue. But here tonight from Darlington, we got about a minute left here in qualifying. So let's see if we can take it down and find a driver. Jeremy Burns, who starts on the pole here tonight. Let's bring a driver in, though, that hasn't had a lot of interviews here as of late. And he's going to start in 15th position. It's Kevin Orlando. Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Kevin, you're going to be starting deep in this pack here tonight. This track is notorious for creating problems when you get side by side. It's so difficult to pass. So what is your recipe? What are your thoughts coming in here tonight to get up to the front?
I think the only way we're really going to get there safely is on a strategy call. So I'm just going to see how the cautions fall and then come with the plan as we go and hope something works out of it. But I really don't have a plan for tonight beyond that.
Well, this track is one of those you got to plan your passes accordingly and predict where guys are going to end up, especially on that turn 2 exit. So here in practice, did you have any troubles or anything that you'd like to work on or change as we race?
Practice went all right. Managed to grab the wall twice in qualifying, which is what slowed my lap down. But as far as practice went, my biggest issue was avoiding those who were sideways out of turn 2. So if I can do that for the race, I think we might be okay.
Well, good luck out there tonight, starting at 15th. You'll have a little bit of ground to make up, but I have complete faith that you can get up there.
I appreciate that. I'll give it a good shot.
Kevin Orlando in the 27. He'll start in 15th. So now let's take you trackside. Get that grid up on your screen. Starting on the pole with a 29.149, it's Jeremy Burns, your points leader, starting to the inside of Daniel Monex in the 2. Row number 2 belongs to Galen Wunsch with Ronnie Joyner in the 00, and then row number 3, rounding out that top 5, Trenton Wilkin in the 12, then John T. Fike in the number 09. Carter Lenz is going to start in 7th position with Chris Snail in 8th. And rounding out your top 10 from row number 5, it's Brent Allen in the 13 with Mitchell Costner in the 92. 11th spot goes to Quentin Stewart, the QSR CEO, and Joseph Perciano will start to his outside. 13th position will go to Bradley Hall. Stephen McGough will start in 14th. 15th, Kevin Orlando Jr. We just talked to him. Chuck Sweeting making his debut out here in the 75 machine. He'll start in 16th. 17th spot, Derek McMurtry. Bryson Witherspoon in 18th. Wyatt Walker and Mike Petrin will be row number 10. And rounding out your 21-car field, we have Austin Dowdy in the number 8 machine. So 21 cars here tonight from the narrow groove at Darlington Raceway. And up towards the front, Jeremy Burns in the Rubbermaid 97. A historic car here at Darlington. If you can think back to 2003 when that familiar Tide machine driven by Ricky Craven was to the outside coming out of the exit. Those drivers got together across each other several times, touching, banging doors, and took about 3.5 laps to sort it all out. Ricky Craven, by less than 100th of a second, gets across to win that race, and I believe one of the few victories, I think 3 or 4 victories for Ricky Craven. But Will we see another historic race here from QSR? We've seen a lot of them. Great finishes at Talladega, but here at Darlington, a little bit further north, green flag is out. Race number 11 of QSR Chase for the Cup. Leading lap number 1, it's going to be Daniel Molnix. Jeremy Burns fell off of the pole rather quickly, all the way back to the 3rd spot now. And Ronnie Joyner got around him as well, up to 2nd position. So 2 down now for Jeremy Burns. Galen Wunsch falls back a position. The 2 and the 00 are turning up the heat. This is kind of what we saw last season here at QSR on V-Speed. These 2 drivers were really stout. They kind of caught Jeremy Burns by surprise, and there was a few racetracks where Burns just didn't have the answer. On board with the number 97. In fact, we have a full live feed of the 97 machine. So we'll switch over to our race camera. And there's Burns, calm and collected. Just riding behind the 00, waiting on these guys to make a mistake. It might be a while, though. They're rather fast in the short run, especially for the 00. And you'll see a lot of single file here tonight. Carter Lenz was peeking on the inside of John T. Fike for the top 5. There he is, looking to the inside again on the entry of 3. Not going to be able to get around. Oh, and a little touch with the wall there. Darlington strike for the 26. If you don't leave with at least one of those today, you weren't trying. You're going to see these guys tagging the outside wall quite a few times around this place. But the top 7 have split away. There's Trenton Wilkin and the number 12. He's going to peek to the outside. 26 really low. Wilkin actually backs out, cuts him a break here down the front stretch. And Mitchell Costner in the wall. 92 is going to lose about 7 positions here. Back to 16. Let's get back on the V-Speed instant replay, see if we can find what happened to this car. Just coming off of turn 4, got into the outside wall. It's as simple as that. Chris Nail, Quentin Stewart, quite a few drivers to the inside rather quickly, and just like that, everything he did in qualifying, completely undone. Back up front, though, the battle for the lead. The 00 looks to the outside, peaks on the outside, now to the inside, down the front stretch. Looking back and forth on the 2 of Molnix. The top 3 right on top of each other. Jeremy Burns, who started on the pole, working his way back towards the leader. Top 7 still could throw a blanket over him as we come around for lap number 9. In a historic moment, watching the 97 and the 00, which would have been the 32. Talked about that briefly, but to see these 2 cars on the racetrack simultaneously on the iRacing service, tag with the wall back there. That was Galen Wunsch coming out of turn 2. And nobody has an answer for this leader, as Daniel Molnix will come by to lead his 9th lap of the day. Rusty Wallace throwback on this machine. Look back here with the cluster of cars. The 23 of Bradley Hall has the 27. He's up into the wall now. The 23 wall riding, and we've got trouble in the back. Mitchell Costner's around. Caution number 1 comes out. Derek McMurtry is also involved. Caution 1 coming out on lap number 11 in turns 1 and 2. Back on the V-Speed instant replay. Let's see where it starts. Costner looks like he got maybe into the back of the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. 83 of Stephen McGough has nowhere to go. We'll back this up one more time, get a better look at it from the blimp camera, but watch this check up here with the 21. Maybe comes back. I'm not sure. Yeah, just contact there with the 75, and then the 83 nowhere to go. And we'll go on board with the 85 of Wyatt Walker. One more time here. Walker ends up with left front damage from all that. Looks like maybe he broke an upper control arm, so he has to hit the pit road. He is down, but so is the rest of this field. Pit stops at lap number 12, I would assume. Because of 5 tire sets, everybody's going to take 4 tires. I would see no reason why not. Down into the stall now for the number 2. Doesn't look like anybody missed their stall, so should have a tight battle off of the pits. Left sides go up on the 2. 4 tires for everybody. Ronnie Joyner, first one out of his box. He will win the battle off of pit road, and that's one way to pass. 00 gets it. Nicely done there for Ronnie Joyner as he'll take over on lap 13 for this next restart. Still back in 3rd for Jeremy Burns, but how about that? Let's back it up one more time, show you the 00 in his stall. And watch this close battle. He's going to get the jack down just before the 2 car, and watch how close it is. Commitment line right there, and that is about as close as it gets. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to double back up. Go back green on lap 16. Actually, 15, rather. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome in. Thank you for joining here tonight on V-Speed. We've seen many races here from QSR that have put on a great show. This should be no different. But this is a race of attrition. Who can last the longest without touching the wall? And we've already seen it once here today. Twice, rather. The 26 got into the wall. Galen Wunsch got into the wall. I believe the 92 of Costner had a little touch with it, fell back to be behind Chuck Sweeney. Then some contact with 3 different cars, bringing out our first yellow of the day. But for the second time, we're going to go back green flag racing. Ronnie Joyner, Daniel Molnix on the front row. Molnix led the most laps to start this race, but now Ronnie Joyner is going to take a turn. Green flag's out, back underway at Darlington. Already some problems in the back of the field. I believe that was Brent Allen that had a little problem with some wheel spin on this start. Trenton Wilkin gets clear of Fike for 7th, in trouble with Fike. Into the outside wall, they keep it pinned up there. That's Chris Nail behind him, and that's not going to do it. That car went airborne. The 20 of Chris Nail off of the racing surface. He got clipped down the backstretch. Will stay green somehow. Not sure who that was. I think it was Austin Dowdy that drove right into the back of Chris Nail, but we're going to stay green. Bryce Witherspoon has problems. Back to a live shot now on lap 17. The 22 looks like he got some heavy damage from the right side, hitting the outside wall. Back up front, Carter Lenz has worked his way up. 4 positions gained now for the 26. He's running in third. That restart got him to the inside, and he hasn't looked back since. He's running right on the back bumper. Molnex took the lead back over. Joyner was able to lead 3 laps before that. But now under fire from the 26 as they go into 3 and 4. And the yellow flag is out. Looks like problems for Bradley Hall and maybe John T. Fike. No, someone else involved in this, but we're going to go back and take a look at it. Brent Allen really loose on the outside of the 23. And there it is right there. Brent Allen was the car involved. Go on board with the 13. Just snaps free there for the 23 car, and Bradley Hall up into the outside. Takes the 13 of Brent Allen. Heavy damage on the front end of that machine. And that will probably trigger some more pit stops for drivers as you see Brent Allen coming down. The front end, the toe knocked out. Right, Bradley Hall rather, with damage as well. I'm trying to locate some of these drivers. Not a lot of them hanging out in the Discord to bring them up into the booth. But take a live shot here. Brent Allen looks like he's communicating with his team as of right now, trying to figure out what to do with this damage. Probably has well over a minute, as he's been sitting on pit road now for about 56 seconds. And he'll lose a couple spots here. Quite a few drivers with damage. So the top 3 has changed hands a little bit. Carter Lenz up into 3rd now. Burns, who started on the pole, back to 4th. Galen Wunsch will be rounding out your top 5, but it's Daniel Molnex and Ronnie Joyner as the pace car lights stay on. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. Talk a little bit about what's going on here in a moment. You're watching QSR Chase for the Cup.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. Lap 24 about to be under the way, and we are a quarter of a way through this race at Darlington. Race number 11 has had 2 cautions, but the green flag is back out. Daniel Molnex is going to restart in the lead for the second time today. And our third restart, off to a good one. Here's Carter Lentz. He has company on the outside, way up on the outside there with the 97. Burns trying to get around him. Side by side going into 3 and 4. Maybe a little door touch here. They're going to stay side by side, and what a move there by Burns to keep it down on the bottom. Not going to be able to clear him, though. Good defense by the 26 of Lentz. He's going to stay up in the third spot. Daniel Molnex, Ronnie Joyner going back and forth again. 25 laps completed now, and the top 3 have not left each other's bumpers. On board with Ronnie Joyner. He led 3 laps to start the day in 4th. He got up to the front after winning the race off of pit road. We had a quick little pit stop there on lap number 12. But these drivers have since dialed it back into a rhythm here. Galen Wunsch a little loose off the exit of 4 in front of Trenton Wilkin. Wilkins trying to figure out a way around. And you gotta love these classic paint schemes. Looks like the peak era of NASCAR in the early 2000s. Love these paint jobs. Jeremy Burns back on the bumper now for 3rd spot. He peaked to the inside going into 3. Ronnie Joyner's gonna carry the momentum down the front stretch. Thought maybe he was gonna try to make a pass, but didn't have the speed. So he'll fall back in line in 2nd spot. As this green flag run progresses, though, you're going to see more and more of that right there. 26 of Lentz touches the wall. Side by side for the lead now. Here comes Joyner, and a little check up there from Lentz slides it into 1. Slip sliding around, trying to get by. Entry of 3, 97 to the inside. The top 4, back and forth. Joyner going to lead another lap. The 199 of Wunsch is in the wall, coming off of 4. And now Quentin Stewart, who thought about taking the position away from him, has to check up. On board with the 24 of Quentin Stewart. The QSR CEO almost had a position gained here. Now stuck behind the 199. This car's so turbulent coming off of these corners. You can see him working the wheel back and forth, trying to get everything he can with throttle play and a little bit of counter steer. Just behind him, Chuck Sweeting has moved up 8 positions up to the 8th spot now. After starting in 16th, the 75 is looking pretty stout as we go into turns 1 and 2 for the 32nd time this race. But the top 3 have not left each other. Still a lot of racing left to go, and these drivers are trying to find every inch they can. Not a lot to work with here at Darlington. Lenz is still holding on to that 3rd spot. The back and forth there between him and Jeremy Burns has not subsided. Burns is going to get another great run off of 4. Saving his tires a little bit more, keeping it down there. Oh, they follow each other up into the wall. 26 is loose through 1 and 2. He's going to be even loose off of 2, and maybe Burns was going to get to the inside, but not the case. I think had Burns not brushed that wall, he probably would have had a shot at it. Trenton Wilkins slowly creeping his way back up towards this group. He got around Galen Wunsch after that wall contact. And it looks like the 24, Quentin Stewart, might have made a mistake. He's got heavy right front damage. Let's back this up. Take a look here with Quentin Stewart and see what happened to make him lose this position to the 75. There's Chuck Sweeting. He's going to go down the front stretch on the inside of the 24. We're going to go into turn 1. And there it is. Finds the wall in the entry of the corner. Back to a live shot now, though. The top 10 still very much up for grabs. The 23 of Bradley Hall has clawed his way back up here after getting spun sideways. He's into the wall there on the exit of turn 2. But back up into the 10th position now for the 23. Ronnie Joyner now officially has led 10 laps. Lap 36 is complete. We're coming up on the halfway point. 100% fuel. These drivers might be able to stretch this all the way to the end, but I don't know if you'd want to do that. These tires might be so important to split this run. As we went back green there on like lap 25, it probably would be a good situation to come down pit road on lap 60 and split this run kind of in half. See Molnix touches the entry to turn 1 below the white dotted line there, trying to get everything he can. He will get a good run going into 3. To the inside of the 00. That opens up the door for Carter Lenz. And the door gets shut. Sideways off of 4, and he scrubs the speed. Just trying to stay in range at this point. You want to stay with that leader. Make your pass on pit road if you can. That's the easiest place to do it. Galen Wunsch starting to surge back towards Trenton Wilkin for 5th spot. Last time by, a little bit quicker than the 12. Still some racing on top of each other outside the top 10, trying to get to the 10th spot. Derek McMurtry is quicker than the 23 of Bradley Hall in the wall again out of the exit of 2. The 48 dives to the inside. He will get to the 10th spot instantly. Stewart, even with that damage, he's getting a little bit more through 1 and 2, trying to find the happy place on this racetrack, and not yet. He hasn't found it yet, but he did find that wall for a moment, and I see the grin on your face there, Quentin. Has to be listening in here tonight. Yeah, I see you up on the live feed. Stay focused, buddy. Daniel Monex has pulled away a little bit here by about 0.2 of a second. That is probably the biggest lead that we've seen all day as this run progresses. Now 29 laps on the stint of tires, and Ronnie Joyner falling back a little bit to Carter Lenz last time by. He was faster than your leader. Daniel Monex, the slowest car in the top 5, rather. Fastest car on the track, right here, Trenton Wilkin. Wilkin is inching his way closer to Jeremy Burns. This time by only about 0.06 of a second faster. With a 30.918 to Jeremy Burns' 30.962. But he is going to be a lot quicker there off the exit of turn 2 and get right up on the bumper into 3. Oh, unfortunately sends it into the wall. Going to lose a little bit of that ground. But Burns is going to get loose, and very loose there for the 26 of Lenz. Top 7, yet again, have split away for the rest of this field. At the tail end of this pack is Chuck Sweeting. Quentin Stewart is going to go by Joseph Terciano and get 8th spot. And even with that damage, the 24 car is leading the second group of race cars around. Imagine how fast that car might be right now, though, without that right front holding him back. Here's the gap from 7th to 8th. Oh, 23 in the wall again. Bradley Hall out of turn 2. He's going to lose 3 spots this time. The driver we talked to in the pre-race, Kevin Orlando, finds himself 1 lap down. Started in 15th. Has a shot to get that lap back. He'll be the first car a lap down. Then it's Brent Allen 2 laps down just behind him on the other side of the racetrack. But he's got heavy front end damage. In front of all of this, Carter Lenz makes another mistake, and now 3rd through 6th position. All on top of each other. 97 of Jeremy Burns peeks to the inside briefly into 1. Let's see if he can do it again here in 3 and 4. Wilkin up on the high side. On board with the 12, trying to get around. He's going to have to check up, though, because of the 13 on fresher tires. It's Brent Allen. That might open up a door here for Wilkin, but he thinks better of it. So looking off the back of the 97 of Burns, after starting on the pole, probably not how he's wanted this race to go. He's just holding on. A lot of these cars around him here tonight have been a little bit faster than him. And he's just trying to keep his top 5 position for when we hit pit stops. We're now at lap 50 to the outside for the 12 of Wilkin for the 4th spot. Now into the wall, though, and he's going to lose that ground. Now Galen Wunsch into turn 1. He checks down to the bottom, can't complete the pass. Daniel Molnix, 1.1, 1.2 coming out of turn 4. The clean air has been good to him. He starts to pull away from the rest of this field. That's Brent Allen a lap down, trying to get one of those laps back. He's actually 2 down, trying to get one of them back the old-fashioned way. He'll then be competing for the lucky dog position for Kevin Orlando in 15th. Look at the damage here through 3 and 4. The 2 of Molnix going to let him go. All around there for the lows 13. Lonnie Joyner in 2nd spot. Like we said, about a second back here. Some of that getting shaved back down after the lap traffic. And it's Carter Lenz with Jeremy Burns within a 10th of him. Wunsch back in 5th. Trenton Wilkin in the 12 car is going to be 6th. It spreads out here in the top 7. 53 laps complete now. Chuck Sweeting, a name we're pretty familiar with here on V-Speed, having a stellar day. Looking like a top 5 car if he can get around Wilkin. Here he goes to the inside after Wilkin makes a mistake on the exit of turn 2. They're going to dive it into 3 and 4. Will Wilkin play defense on the outside? He will, but he scrubs off the speed on the high line. 75 pushing hard to try to get clear of him. Doesn't get it done down the front stretch. Going to dive it into turn 1. He is clear now. Up to 6 now for the 75. Austin Dowdy done for the day. Chris Nail also clocks out early in this race. 19 cars, and this is the last one on the racetrack. The 85 of Wyatt Walker. 25 laps down, heavy right front damage. He will go by the outside. I believe that was the 60 machine. 65, I'm having troubles finding that driver out there. Actually, John T. Fike, labeled as the 09. He's coming down pit road now. So we're looking for the closest battle on the racetrack. Well, I'd have to say it's between Joseph Terciano, who's sliding down to the inside to come to pit road now. So that was the closest battle on the racetrack. Now we'll go back up here to Galen Wunsch, who's trying to get around Jeremy Burns for the 4th position. Last time by, he lost a little bit, just 100th of a second. Wow, Burns sends it into pit road. So green flag pit stops here on lap 58. 97 short pits a little bit here on Molnix and Joyner. When will the 2 of Daniel Molnix decide that it's time to bring it down pit road? Lonnie Joyner decided it was time for him. He'll come down on lap 59. We'll have to see how this all cycles out as the 12 also into the pit stop for Trenton Wilkin. Heavy right front damage, though, on that machine. Down and away here. It looks like Joyner trying to find his stall. That's going to interfere a little bit here. Didn't lose too much time, but that does mess with his down the lane. Daniel Molnix is going to stay out another lap. Galen Wunsch, Chuck Sweeting, all still out there on the racetrack, and Looks like 5 cars have yet to hit the pit road. Here comes Carter Lenz. The win is it going to be for Daniel Molnex? He's got heavy, heavy traffic. Brent Allen almost back up the racetrack in front of him there. Looked like Allen might have missed the pit road. He was trying to get to pit road. Oh, he's got damage again. Oh, we're going to have to back this up one more time to figure out what happened here. Got into the outside wall, snaps it sideways, and here's the 24 of Quentin Stewart on board with him. Ah, he got a piece of it. "63 laps about to be complete. Daniel Molnex has stayed out for all of them. And now he will come down pit road. Where does this cycle out for Jeremy Burns? In the 97, he got ahead of Ronnie Joyner by a lap here. 1 lap difference on tires. The 97 and the 00 about to go at it. Daniel Molnex will have the freshest tires of this group. He pits about 10 laps later. Just now hitting the stall for the 2 car. Coming out of turns 3 and 4. Jeremy Burns is going to be your leader after this all cycles through, but Ronnie Joyner a little bit quicker last time by. There goes McMurtry into his stall. The 23 of Bradley Hall stays out one more time. Drivers try to get clear of him. Hall will lead 1 lap here today. Very loose there. Galen Wunsch able to get around him, but now Burns maybe turning on the afterburners. Last time, a lot faster. This clean air has been good to the 97 now as he takes over the lead this time by. Bradley Hall still yet to come down pit road, but he is being chased down big time. On board with the 97 of Burns. Take a look back behind him. It's Ronnie Joyner, tag with the wall there. Little mistake from Burns, and that's going to shave the lead down tremendously after this cycles through. 0.2 of a second. Ronnie Joyner to the inside in 3 and 4. Burns on the outside, going to try to pin him down here on the exit of 4. They make contact. This is what you want to see at Darlington. But taking over the point just before Burns got a lap led, Ronnie Joyner out of turn 4. Daniel Molnex is 7 seconds behind these lead cars. But he has the freshest tires of all the cars on this racetrack. Carter Lenz in 3rd. He pit a little bit later than these front two. Last time by, he was matching their lap times. They are pushing hard. No mistakes. Ronnie Joyner has to be perfect for these next 31 laps. Trying to snag away a victory from Daniel Molnix, who's led the most so far. Joyner has shown some speed in the short run, but after about 20 laps, this car really starts to fall off. Burns probably knows that, but does Molnix get back there in time? Based off the lap times that I'm looking at, this is the fastest car on the racetrack. Second fastest being Carter Lenz. Britton Wilkins sideways off of turn 2. Everybody looks like they're wiggling a little bit loose off of the corner. It's been the case pretty much all day, but Wilkins back in 5th, losing ground. Much older tires than Daniel Molnix in front of him. Doesn't look like he has much of a chance to catch up to these lead 4. Closest battle on the racetrack right now is between Galen Wunsch and John T. Fike, who's on 6-lap older tires, but how about that for the 65 to get himself back out there into the top 10 after the problems he had earlier in this race. However, that's not the recipe. He's going to hit the wall coming out of turns 3 and 4 really sideways, and he's going to lose a position now to Galen Wunsch, back to 8th now. Burns giving up a lot of ground. What is that? A car up the racetrack. That was Mike Petrin that almost got into the side of Jeremy Burns. That's a close one. Kevin Orlando still out there on the racetrack, having some blinking issues. Mitchell Costner in 12th spot. Started in 10th, had a rough start to this race. Within the first 20 laps, he found himself involved in an incident. He's since got the car repaired, but he is the last car on the lead lap. 25 to go now as the 00 of Ronnie Joyner continues to pull away. He'll cross the stripe for that 25 to go right here. He is on rails. 21 laps led. Going to compete with Daniel Molnix, who has 50. Doesn't look like he's going to get the most laps led. Math-wise, that puts him at 45, so he's going to be just short of that. But as he continues to put it down out here, Molnix is just now catching up to Carter Lenz. This could be Ronnie Joyner's race to lose based off of this gap. It's going to be very tough for Molnix to get around Lenz. Lenz going to put up a fight here in 3 and 4 for the 3rd spot. Molnix not quite clear. Car sideways on the racetrack. That was Mike Petrin, who's going to take it behind the wall. The fight's over, though, into turn 1, up to 3rd now for Molnix. He has another car that's going to put up a good fight. That's Jeremy Burns in 2nd. to the inside down the front stretch for second position. Daniel Molnex dives it into turn 1. A fight back here on the outside from the 97 of Burns into the wall. And the 26 of Lenz is going to get to the inside. Into 3 and 4. Side by side with about 20 to go. Burns just trying to hold on to a podium finish. Lenz trying to take it away. Daniel Molnex trying to chase down your leader, Ronnie Joyner, in that clean air. 1 second separate the leaders with 20 laps left. Race back here for third, the race for first and second. Diving to the inside. Quick clear there for the number 2 of Molnex. Now the 26 trying to get around Jeremy Burns. They're still going to be side by side down the front straightaway. The tires are almost gone on Jeremy Burns. He's got to be getting frustrated. There was a quick look there to my left, and yes, Burns is definitely getting frustrated with the way this car is handling as this run progresses. 17, 18 laps to go. Daniel Molnex takes back over the point. Drives away from the rest of this field to a full second lead as he'll come out of turn 4. Stellar day for Daniel Molnex to put it all together. The laps continue to tick away. All of these drivers on the struggle with the handling, the power, trying to keep it connected to this old surface and this narrow groove of a racetrack. Quentin Stewart is going to go by Joseph Terciano and get back to ninth. The 21 had a problem there in the entry of 1. He's going to dive to the inside of Stephen McGough, side by side into 3 and 4. That was the closest battle on the racetrack. Terciano falls back to 11th. And as we wind down the laps, Carter Lenz has pulled away from Jeremy Burns. Looks like he's going to lock up the 3rd spot. So the podium here today looking like Molnex, Joyner, and Lenz. After your pole sitter falls back to 4th, Chuck Sweeting looks like a top 5 day after gaining 11 positions for the 75, and he's making up ground on Jeremy Burns. He's about 0.7 of a second faster that last time by. Brent Allen has retired from this race. Done for the day for the 13. Checking on board here with a position battle on your screen. Down to 0.8 now, possibly 4th spot for Sweeting as he claws back towards Burns. Pulls away from Wilkin. Side by side between Fike and Mago coming out of turn 4. Car in the wall, that's Terciano, still struggling with the handling. Battle for 11th. Battle in front of them. Mago into the wall. Actually, that was Fike into the wall. He comes down in front of the 92. Almost gets tagged by Terciano. They come out of turn 2 sideways. 11 laps to go when they cross the stripe. Molnix catching up to this. He's going to have his hands full with lap traffic in just a moment. Into the wall again for Fike. And the 2 of Molnix is going to have to get by this. Terciano is going to go side by side again with the 23. That's Bradley Hall, and he is 2 laps down, but he'll get around. And if you're Dan Molnix right now, you've got to be thinking, man, when do I get there? I hope these guys have it sorted out when I do. This could be race changing for the 2 machine if he catches them at the wrong time. 10 laps to go. 9.5 as we went down the backstretch out of turns 3 and 4. Daniel Molnix has a 2-second gap to Ronnie Joyner. Carter Lenz is getting reeling him back in though for the 2nd spot. Gonna have a change for our podium positions. Last time by, Lenz was 0.3 of a second faster. This time by, identical lap times, 31.373 for both of them. Chuck Sweeting was able to get around Jeremy Burns and get up to 4th. So a 5th position finish for Burns, your points leader. Molnix comes by for the 8 to go mark. 7 to go, rather. Joyner gives up a little bit more ground to the 3rd position. Looks like Lenz is going to catch him. Can he complete the pass, though? Joyner definitely going to put up a fight. Side by side down the front stretch for 2nd position. Carter Lenz dives it to the inside. Door contact into 1. Makes quick work of it. Gets clear of the 00 of Joyner. And with 5 laps to go, he's going to be in 2nd. Joyner might be under fire from the 75. We could have a podium finish from Chuck Sweeting as he works closer and closer. The short run speed definitely there for the 00, but when it comes to the long run, he has lost a ton of ground. Five laps left. Will Chuck Sweeting get up there and chase the 00 and get around him? Terciano down on the bottom. Gonna let these cars by. Sideways out of the corner there for the 00. Molnix will cross for 4 laps left. 2nd through 4th. Right on top of each other. They accordion back. Not a good run out of the exit there for Joyner. And now Sweeting is there for 3rd. Another mistake there from Joyner. 3 laps left. Onto the back bumper from Sweeting as they go into turn 1. Benjamin Richards, welcome to the chat. Glad you could join us here today. We're about to have a great finish for the podium here. Can Ronnie Joyner, as he sends it into turn 3, hold on to a podium finish? Can Chuck Sweeting get ahead of him? Off of the back of the 00. 2 laps left. The opportunities running out for Chuck Sweeting as he drives it deep into 1 and 2. Putting the pressure on. Sideways out of 2. Joyner just trying to keep it for 1 more lap. Molnix takes the white flag this time around. The 26 of Linz is caught back up to him. We could have a battle for the lead. White flag in the air now here at Darlington. 3rd spot very much up for grabs as Chuck Sweeting sends it into turn 1. But off of turns 3 and 4 for the final time today, Carter Linz is going to run out of time, and Daniel Molnix is going to be victorious here today from Darlington Raceway. On the outside, into the wall, across the checkered flag, and Ronnie Joyner holds on to it by 0.07 of a second. This is going to be off of turn 4 where the 00 makes a mistake. Sweeting had got to his outside. He just gets wiggly loose, and unfortunately Mike Petrin's to the inside, or Sweeting could have probably dove down to the bottom. Ronnie Joyner should thank Mike Petrin for saving his 3rd place finish here tonight. But there's your 1st place finisher, Daniel Molnix in the number 2. He led 70 laps of the 100 here today from Darlington. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We're going to gather those drivers up. You're watching the QSR Chase for the Cup live on V-Speed. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Here live from Darlington Raceway, QSR Chase for the Cup has concluded its 100-lap race. It was a tight one. 2 cautions here today. Final results up on your screen with 8 lead changes, and Daniel Molnex will lead the most laps. He'll become victorious at the 1.36-mile oval in South Carolina. Carter Lenz, he chased him back down, got within about a second, about 6/10 separating them as they came across the line. Ronnie Joyner, 7/100ths of a second ahead of Chuck Sweeting as he got loose out of turn 4. That's your top 3. Chuck Sweeting in 4th. Jeremy Burns, after starting on the pole, will fall back to 5th. Galen Wunsch with a great finish here today in 6th spot. Trenton Wilkin a little off the pace there in the late run, 7th spot. Quentin Stewart, could have been a better day, could have been a worse day. 3 spots gained, he gets 8th. Stephen McGough is going to gain 5 here today, and 10th spot will go to Mitchell Costner in the 92. Most spots gained will go to Chuck Sweeting with 12. 11th spot goes to Terciano with Kevin Orlando, the driver we talked to in pre-race, in 12th. Derek McMurtry will finish 13th with Bradley Hall in 14th. John T. Fike will start in the 15th position. Bryson Witherspoon in 16th. Mike Petrin, who was a little bit damaged there towards the end of this race, will finish in 17th spot. Wyatt Walker, also some damage. Brent Allen out for the day. Austin Dowdy done early, and Chris Nail 85 laps down for your 21 car field rather. That brings us to our top 3. Ronnie Joyner, your 3rd place finisher of the night. We'll bring him into the broadcast booth. And Ronnie, I gotta say, you hit the wrong button there, just a little off course there. But you got a shout out to the number 60 of Mike Petrin. I think you got loose there off of 4, and had that car not been to the inside, it could have been a different story.
Oh yeah, it could have. That was a fun race. Really, really rough and tough. My hands are hurting from working the car so much. It was a fun race and hard fought.
Well, Ronnie, it looked like you really had some short run speed here today, and that car was bad fast, especially within the first 20 laps of your run. Talk a little bit about your decision there to short pit. Was it just a matter of track position? It was so tough to pass, or did you feel like that maybe you had something in store for him at the end?
I had to pit right there. The right front had come off the car right there, so a couple more laps I would have been doing nothing but losing time. So that was the decision I made, and it fell a little short though. But it was a lot of fun driving up through there and racing Carter and Jeremy and Daniel as well. So.
Yeah, the top 7 here today pretty much branched off from the rest of the field. You guys all were racing pretty hard, especially there at the beginning of this. But, to come out on top on a podium, put it all together, Ronnie Joyner, anybody you'd like to shout out?
Shout out the guys at QSR for putting this on. Gen 4 is always a lot of fun. Really good racing in this Gen 4 league, and all the guys have been in motorsports, and congratulations to Daniel on the win. That was a lot of fun. It's always fun when you can race your buddy for a win. So,
well, we appreciate your time, Ronnie, and we look forward to seeing you next week when we go to Dover.
All right, Bradley, take care.
Ronnie Joyner in the 00. He'll be your 3rd place finisher here tonight from Darlington. Moving up another spot, a guy that we haven't talked to yet, I believe Carter Lenz. This is your first time up in the broadcast booth this season, at least on a Thursday night, and looks like a really solid day for you. That car was chasing Molnex down. I think you could correct me if I'm wrong, but another 5 laps, you might have had him.
Yeah, no, just talking to him there, waiting for this interview here. He was telling me if it would have went one more lap, he would have been out of fuel. He said he was doing whatever he could to save one little drop of fuel to hold me off, because I was trying to do whatever I could to catch up to Ronnie there, close there at the end. And next thing I knew, my spotter was telling me, you're closing in on the car in front. And I knew right then and there he was saving fuel. He was doing whatever he could to make it to the end.
Yeah, we didn't even factor that in. It looked like Molnex was going to be good. He was one of the latest cars to pit. So what's the deal with that? Was he just on the throttle more than the rest of the field? What exactly would have caused that? Did he pit just a little bit shorter on fuel there and for the calculation?
I had to be. He pitted, I think he 4 or 5 laps after I went in, and he came out and he was a ball of fury. I mean, he was passing people left and right, made a hard charge to the front. I don't know if he only accounted for making it to the end and not really for that extra pushing power, and it almost cost them there in the end. But I mean, props to him for being able to save that fuel and still manage that first place spot there at the end. That was impressive.
Let's play the what if game. What if a caution came out there with about 3 to go? I think right now, Carter Lenz, you would have been victorious. You were up front for a lot of this day. And what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, only if, like you
Yeah.
said, only if it happened. Oh no, it would have been great to finish first, but I can't complain at second. Knowing that I haven't really been present here on Thursday nights recently, and coming out here in Darlington, and it's not a real easy track to know, and especially with a car with a lot of horsepower and not a lot of tire underneath it. It's a real workout and a handful, and it's just it kind of has to work out in your favor. So
Well, I'm watching the driver cams. Everybody's in relax mode. They're drinking a beer or, trying to get refreshed, trying to just pace around, stretch out and try to get it back to normal. So I would recommend that you do the same. But before we let you go, Carter, anybody you got to shout out?
shout out to you guys, V Speed. You guys do a great job every broadcast. It doesn't matter when and where. It's always a good production. QSR, been with these guys forever. Awesome being here, racing with you guys. Friends, family, mom, dad, girlfriend, Sarah, everyone I know is kind of picked up a fan of racing here because of me doing this. So it's fun to be able to do this and get my family involved.
Absolutely. And if in any way you can get them to hit that subscribe button, that would be excellent.
I will definitely tell them to do so.
All right, Carter, thank you for your time, buddy. And, post race, maybe we'll see you at Dover, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes. Thank you.
Second place finisher of the night, the 26th, the Wonder Breton Machine. He's going to come out of here in a podium finish at Darlington. And finally, that brings us to Daniel Molnix in the number 2. Daniel, I tell you what, man, if there could be another day, another race that you can make it go this well, what track would you pick and why? Because this was a dominant performance, just a clinic out here. Even after you shorted yourself a little bit on fuel, you still had enough to be ahead of this field.
Yeah, dude, had to start finish line been on the back stretch like it used to be. That was Carter's race. I crossed the line with 0.1 laps of fuel, so I started sputtering by the time we got through 1 and 2 on the cooldown lap.
That's why we didn't see a post-race celebration.
Yeah, yep. Had no fuel in it, but yeah, I mean it was a really good race. These cars, believe it or not, are actually a lot of fun to get around in this place. They slip and slide, if you're not careful, they'll just step out from under you, but it's fun to be on a track that doesn't have, a ton of grip, especially with these cars.
Yeah, there's no grip strips. There's not a preferred line. You're just out there hunting the whole time from lap 1 to the very end. And kudos to you guys for racing side by side. I saw you and Ronnie go pretty much door to door for an entire corner, and I don't know what your take is on official racing, but none of that ever happens in an official race at this racetrack.
Well, when it does, it doesn't ever turn out well.
Right.
Me and Ronnie, I mean, we've raced for so long now that we know how each other drive. I knew he wouldn't, crowd me, and I wasn't going to crowd him. We give each other plenty of room, and there was a couple times, like I gave him the spot going into a corner, and he'd give it back to me in a corner, and that's stuff that you don't really see in officials very often either. But it's nice to see it happen because then you can let the race play out instead of 2 guys going for the same spot. Then you have a caution, then everybody gets bunched back up, doing that over and over and over.
Well,
it's
it's also nice to
finally let it
see.
play out.
It's nice to see teammates getting along. You guys have been racing together for quite some time. But one more thing here, Daniel, I got to ask. When you came in here tonight, you were starting back in the second spot. You had the 97 of Burns, who ends up finishing 5th. Did you predict that this race would come to you that quickly? You got the lead and just pulled away from the field.
No, actually, I mean, I wanted to stay to his outside right there on the initial start, because if I could have done that, I would have had the preferred lane off of turn 2, and I would have stood a better chance to clear him. But I think he got loose right there on the bottom in the first lap, so just kind of handed me the lead right there. And at that point, I had clean air, fresh tires, and I was just kind of riding, just cruising. Like I say, I had Ronnie behind me. I knew he wouldn't push the issue too much, and if he did, I would just, kind of give him the spot and race him later. But yeah, I thought back to the Xfinity race that we had here and how the start of that one went. And yeah, if you can't get the pole, you at least want to be outside pole, because you stand a good chance of being the leader by the time you get off of turn 2.
Yeah, very tough to get the positions. Got to get them early. But Daniel, you were able to find that hole and take over the point. Even with the short or the longer stint on your tires, you were able to get back by everybody, and just a great job here tonight. 70 laps led. Anybody that comes to mind that you want to shout out for this victory?
Shout out you guys. Like I say, y'all put on a good broadcast week in and week out. Shout out to Ronnie and Carter, Jeremy. We all raced each other hard, but respectfully, to not using each other up to get spots. And I mean, pretty much the whole field tonight. I mean, it was a pretty clean race. I know there was a couple of cautions, but I didn't really see anything that was, I guess, uncalled for or whatever. I mean, I'm sure there was some stuff that happened that of course, I didn't see, but yeah, that's really about all I got for you.
Mainly, the only thing that I take out of this that was just egregious was guys trying to hit pit road and missing it and coming back up the racetrack. And I know that's very difficult. It's easy to do. I've been there. It's probably the toughest pit road to get onto on the simulation. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, that's a tough one in Iowa. Iowa, I mean, I don't know who built that wall, but they obviously have a lot more faith. Yeah, they made it a lot longer than they needed to.
Yeah.
But Daniel, great job here tonight, and we look forward to talking to you maybe post race at Dover. We've got 4 races left here before we hit postseason.
I thought this was the cutoff. No, it may not be. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. I just take it.
Yeah, we actually got to add 4 races to that schedule, because we're going to go into the postseason.
Right.
So
yeah,
you get to pick a track if you make that top 4.
I don't know if I
can we get a little hint? Can we get a little hint?
It's one that I'm going to dominate if I get to pick a race.
Well, yeah, that would be smart. Yeah. All right, man.
Tell you, and I know they don't want to hear it, because then they'll make sure that they don't choose that track.
Yeah, they'll definitely be practicing if it does get picked. All right, Mill. Appreciate your time, Daniel, and we'll see you next week at Dover. I'll see you Tuesday. How about that?
Oh, you're going to be in the car Tuesday night?
I will be in the car Tuesday night at Richmond.
Well, I will not.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Well, one more spot for me, I guess.
Yeah, there's a protest going on. I got to sit that one out.
Well,
but anyway,
we'll
have
see you,
fun
man.
Tuesday night. I see you.
That's your race winner, Daniel Molnex, and the number 2, the Rusty Wallace Miller throwback. 25 years in racing, and looking at another multi-time winner here in this season. That's going to do it for us here on V-Speed. If you enjoyed the broadcast, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We'll bring you flag-to-flag coverage all season long of the QSR Chase for the Cup, the Xfinity Series, all the way across the board. Make sure to tune in Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday Night Racing League has 2 races left to crown their champion. Jeff Wright, who dominated the season, has fallen out of the first position. Joseph McWhorter will be the points leader going into this week. But for everybody at V-Speed, Adam Baker, who makes all the graphics and does some broadcasting and a lot of work in the background, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, Christian Hill, our producers. This is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Saturday. Until then, take care, everybody.